Internet. What's up, Internet? What's going on, everybody? It is a lovely... I'm trying to figure out what this thing is right here. It's a lovely, lovely Wednesday. I lost who was first to the chat. I thought who was first to the chat was mhowie9, but I don't know. I lost the chat. I had to restart the computer. It was having some kind of crazy technological malfunction, a.k.a. no sound. So, what's up? Let's just run down here real quick and say what's up to whoever's here. mhowie9, Oddball Aquatics, Tampa Tom, Alyssa Bentley. I see Eric Gone Mad. Noob Phobo, what's up? Bentley Pascal was here but had to leave already. I saw that. 54 Punchy is here. Kira Witt, what up? Tampa Tom, if I didn't say hi to Tampa Tom already, Tampa Tom. Huge J-Mac is here. What do we got? Beach Night Production. Whew, all one word. That's hard to read. John Gonzalez is here also. Shopless Woodworkers asking, is it tomorrow yet? I think it is tomorrow in New Zealand. Yes, I think it's tomorrow in New Zealand already. And I think that's just legitimate tomorrowness going on. New Zealand style. They're very tricky. We live in the future. Barbara Jackson is here. I see Sunia says, Joel! Which is me. That's my name. Even though my channel says Corvus Oscen on it, I know it's wildly confusing to a lot of people, and they want to know what it means. Just look it up under Latin definition, and then you'll get a good little rundown on what it means. I'm just an old school guy like that. I guess I could have named my channel Joel's Aquariums. Or like Joel's Aquascapes, right? Something like that. Maybe. I don't know. But I didn't. So, that's where we are. Let me know how the video goes today because I changed a bunch of settings. The video of me talking looks smoother. I don't know if anybody can tell a difference or if anybody is just like, hey, it's exactly the same. You got that resting fish face. But I did notice there's a little speck of something. What is that on the back of the mic? Oh, it's just fuzz. Okay. It's nothing weird. So that's good. Let's see. Where are we in saying what's up to people? I scrolled down real quick on accident. Daryl Deemer, what's up, buddy? Haven't seen you since Sunday. Big Pedro is here. Adam Stevens showing up. Gar Graphics Aquatics and the Reptiles. James Neesham's here. Gerald Wallace. Gary Duncan. Whoa, what do we got here? Mad Alien Monk. There we go. I was thinking that was some kind of weird way of spelling Madeline. But maybe it's Mad Alien. I don't know. It's either Madeline or Mad Alien. I'm not sure. Let's see. It says, Bob said the event wasn't that great. Only the people made it good. I will 100% always agree with that statement, regardless of how awesome an event is or not. So... Maybe that explains it. I don't know. The Nano Tank is here. Master Beta, what's up? Derek Runyon. We've got Tom. We've got Tom Anding. Hello from Malibu, California. Ooh, that's pretty dope. He's probably having some brilliant weather down there. Luckily, the weather has turned around here a little bit. It's kind of some sunshine in today, not too cold, not too hot. I mean, it's cold for most people, but for me, not a bother. Quick note on some of the stuff I did today. I uninstalled a chimney, which is why I think I still have some soot. It's on me. I'm just telling you. That's probably what this is. Yeah, that's ash. I got a bunch of that on me from moving stuff. Kroger Marcus says, plants where? Greetings from Germany. Well, I got some plants in from Dennerla, so we'll be talking about that, and I'll show you guys how to plant those and stuff. I guess it's maybe like a little, what do you call it? A bit, I don't know. I can't think of the word. Oh, hold on a second. We've got to enable something here. We got ourselves a dog cam, you guys. Oh, my little Mr. Buddy, he's over there sleeping on the dog cam. Let's see if he sleeps for the whole show. He probably will. As you guys know, the Chippy McChipperton himself, he hasn't been feeling that great. I've gotten a couple of blood tests back on him. Still undecided as to what may be ailing him or not. So we will find out, but in the meantime, he's just chilling. Taking some naps. Oh, maybe he knows we're talking about him. See his ears wiggling around. But we'll just keep an eye on him with the dog cam while we can before we go over to the video segment, which will be in about 3 or 4 minutes. So, Susan says, hiya, good to see you, Susan. It's calling me handsome. It's very nice. It's very kind of you. We all know the truth, though. We all know the truth. Gerald Wallace with a $5 super chat saying, smooth yet dusty. Thanks, brother. And that's funny. Not only is it a super chat, it's also funny. I like it. That's a double whammy. That's a double whammy. Let's see if we got any questions in the chat. Let's see if anything has a question mark at the end of it. Reading. Wushu Jimmy says, I tune in and the first words I hear are mad aliens. So this should be a pretty good stream. Yeah, not too bad. There's a couple things we're going to talk about. I think we'll talk about aquatic experience after the video segment. Mainly because, I'm all about the video segment, just like you guys. I'm all about getting to the video segment. And maybe some other people will hang around and we'll chat about convention type stuff or whatever. Adam Stevens is asking, have I tried the Tropica plants? How do they compare? I would love for you to ask that question again, or somebody save that question. One of the moderators copy and paste that question in here right when we go to the video segment, and I'll explain. We got a like spike for the dog cam. That's a good point. Yeah, we should always get a like spike whenever the dog cam goes live. 54 Punchy with a $5 super chat with the hashtag tips for Mr. Chips. He'll probably... Oh, no, he didn't even notice that I said his name. He's just chilling. And Bonkers About Alice was asking, do you prefer Tropica or Dennerle for tissue culture plants? Like I said, if we get to the video portion, I will explain that. Right before we get to the video portion, 2 things I always want to point out. What is that? That is not... Man, sometimes you think I would be more prepared. You know what I mean? Okay, first link of the day has to do with what people would call the commercial, with air quotes. This is the commercial portion of the show, and people get super mad about it, and then people write blog rants, and they post videos up about it and get all super pissed. But this show is brought to you by the lovely community that have been chipping in over at the Patreon. About 300 people on there. make this show possible, to be able to come up and broadcast, to be able to go to the conventions, to be able to make these videos and stuff so that there's time to do them. It's really because of you guys. And if you think about it, this is basically like the commercials you hear on NPR or whatever, where they're all like, hey, if this is something that has value to you, well, feel free to chip in $1 a year or whatever. It's basically what it boils down to. I'm going to broadcast as much as I can, regardless, right? It just makes it much easier to pay the bills and do all that kind of stuff if you guys are kicking in, and I'm buying equipment and trying to travel more so I can film more things and stuff like that. I do have some good plans for next year, and I'm pretty excited about them, and it just looks like we're going to have to be more and more independent after having gone through more and more meetings and stuff. It just looks like it's going to be better. It's going to be better to just continue going independent. And, you know, that's just, I think that's just how we're going to have to go. I think that's just kind of how we're going to have to do. So the ability to be able to come on and talk to you guys, I normally do 3 shows for 2 hours a week, which obviously takes more than 2 hours to actually put everything together and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it. I'm enthusiastic, and that's the best pitch that I can even bother to give you. But $4.99 super chat from Brian Fish Tanks. Thank you very much, my man. Every little whatever counts, and we'll just keep moving along and trying to do more and more projects and show you guys some stuff. You don't have to if you don't want to. Watching the show is a form of contributing also. So, hey, everybody does what they can. All right. Now that we don't need to talk about that anymore, we'll just move right along to the video portion. Oh, what's Mr. Chips doing? Are you okay, duty man? Oh, big sigh. He's having a big sigh. Okay, and then we'll move right along to scene 2, which has... Is it going to play? Is it going to play? Do you guys think it's going to play? It should. Hold on, I have to turn off the whiteboard. Oh, there we go. It just started playing from the middle. How smart is that? All right, as you guys could see from the thumbnail, we got ourselves some lovely, lovely plants from Dennerla. And I wanted to show you guys just kind of what goes into it. Taking them out, how to get them, basically how to get them out of the container. What do you got to do? What's the deal, right? What do you got to do with them? And let's just start out at the beginning. Hold on a second. I'm trying to make sure that this thing's working right over here. What? What is this doing? Sorry, computer is doing weird stuff. Hold on a second. What are you doing, computer? I don't know what the computer's doing right now. Oh, this is weird. Okay. Hold on a second. Okay, I don't know. We'll figure it out. Either way, we'll get to the bottom of whatever the computer is doing over here. And, yeah, hopefully we haven't lost signal or anything. Okay, yeah, it says everything over there is working fine. I'm just not 100% what's going on over here on this end. Not the worst thing either. Not the worst thing ever. Anyhow, so the first things first, basically with tissue cultured plants, one of the things that is slightly confusing to people is that they're like, what is a tissue culture plant? Essentially what they're doing is they're finding the nicest strain of plant that they can find, right? And then from there, they're going to clone the same plant. Now, obviously that sounds scary. It sounds like a weird thing. But don't stress out too much about it, because that's not a bad thing. It's essentially what plants do on their own. Minus the minus them having to have a male and a female plant. They're essentially what they're doing is just cloning the beneficial plant. So they're finding a plant that has all of the things that they want. They're essentially going to clone it from the tissue culture. So I know that sounds confusing, and it is sort of confusing, and I'm not the greatest at explaining it because I'm not a guy who does it. I have done some stuff with it in the past, but I'm no expert. But essentially, to give you an idea what the deal is, they're essentially cloning the really good plant that they found. So they either grew a plant or they have a bunch of plants. They grow them all out. You know, they get those to reproduce on in the regular way, right? In the standard way, and they pick the plants that they really want. They keep going from there, and then eventually they tissue culture from the really nice looking plant that they want. So in a situation like today, we got this, and I always say this wrong, and I don't want to say it wrong. Hygrophila varietal that we have here today, and I can't remember exactly which one it is off the top of my head. I had it written down. I don't know where it went, but either way, it's in the thumbnail, and I'll be sure to add it to the description once this goes up as a regular video. And we'll go from there. So that'll make sense. Oh, crazy! I have this open on my phone. I was wondering why I had a notification on my phone. It's because, like, this video is happening. All right. Now, the weird thing is when you get these plants in is that they come in these little tiny cups. They come in these little, it's maybe like a half cup size type of cup. And they're clear. It's just like a clear little cup with a lid or a little plastic covering on it. There we go. What is that phone doing? I don't know. All the electronics over here are freaking out, which is fine. We'll get to the bottom of it. Anyhow, you get that little cup. It has this weird sort of jello-like stuff in the bottom of it, which people generally kind of freak out about. They're like, I don't understand what this is. What's the deal? Just consider it jello for plants. It's basically just fertilizer in jello form. So maybe you could even think of it as just like Repashy for plants. Maybe it's Repashy for plants, essentially, that it's just sort of this jello-like form that the roots can sit in, and it's essentially what they've grown out of. So they grow them out in that, and everything's grown out of that jello-like substance, and from there, they get dropped into those little pots. They put the little cover on them, and they keep them that way until they head out. The unfortunate thing is that this is great for travel. This is great for shelf life. But the downside is what happened to me is I basically got a bunch of these, and some of them went bad because I flew Southwest Airlines, and we'll get into Southwest Airlines later. I'll talk about that. But some of them broke open, some of them froze, and that's not necessarily the best thing. They can still get really cold. You can keep them in a fridge, but you don't want anything freezing. And you certainly don't want, the underbelly of an airplane. Turns out Southwest doesn't even they don't even pressurize their suitcase cabin, which Delta and Alaska Airlines actually do. Whatever. It's just a personal thing. And I'm not really enjoying the whole Southwest Airlines adventure that I had. But it kind of ruined some of these plants, and luckily, a bunch of them are fine. Now, if you're carrying these or traveling around with these yourself in like your car or anything like that, they're not going to go through that seriously crazy environment that they had to in the underbelly of the plane. So this actually works out really well for normal people that aren't flying with them, right? They, if you have these in your car, you could actually buy these plants and like bring them home and just put them in a cool place that's not too hot, not too cold, and you can hold on to them for quite a while. So that's one of the things that I find to be really useful for, people that just have a couple of aquariums, not people like me that have sumps all over the place and crazy places to store plants all the time. So that's very usable. In the past, the big issue that I've had with tissue cultured plants is that I had monumental problems converting them from the pots into the tanks. Now, I'm not sure if that's my fault, or maybe it was the company I got the plants from, or maybe it's a problem I'm still having now and I just don't know yet. So, we're going to find out together over time how well these plants are going to convert, how well they aren't going to convert. And, time will tell how well these are actually going to convert. Now, I have high hopes because the last time I utilized tissue culture plants, I realized I started looking at a calendar and I started thinking, when was the last time that I actually used some? And it has clearly been at least for 4 years. So I was like, it's time to definitely give these a shot. Now, in all honesty, I basically waited till the end of the convention and sort of rated what Dennerle had left. They did give these to me for free. I'm not sure if that means that this is a sponsored video or not, but basically I waited until there weren't any people at the convention anymore, and then I was like, hey, what do you guys have left? What are you going to ship back? What are you going to do? Whatever. I'll take some leftovers and stuff. Chris Lukup and Gabby were totally awesome, and they were just like, yeah, man, try these out. Just try these out. It'll be all good. Try the ones that you want. Don't take the ones that you don't want. And as some people saw on Instagram, I ended up with a massive pile of stuff, which is totally fine. I'm going to be distributing those out to whoever, basically some local people. And also a lot of them are going to be going into the 120s and stuff like that. So never fear. I'll do my best to give it back. Now, the one plant that I did get from them that I would consider to be a sponsorship plant, and some people have asked me about this, the Cryptocrine flamingo, okay? As most people know, the crypt flamingo is a highly sought-after, super rare plant. If you guys watched one of my tour videos when we were out at Dennerle, Stefan Hummel mentioned the flamingo, how it came to be. It's actually a Wendetii that is just a complete variant. It's a complete variant of the standard Wendetii. So the water parameters for that are pretty straightforward. Wherever Wendetii is going to grow well, the pink flamingo should grow well also. So that portion is pretty straightforward. It's just that plant is super rare. So as a full disclosure, Chris Lukup did bring me specifically 6 cups of that. So that video I would consider to be, a sponsored video from those guys, but that will be its own little short standalone deal. Now, needless to say, because I got those for free, I will be rehoming some more of them locally once they have adapted. Those were the plants that traveled the worst. They had the hardest time in travel. So I have planted them. I've put them in an aquarium. I'm nursing them back to health. We shall see what happens. Hopefully it works out. I did give some to Kang Lee when I was out at the Aquatic experience, so hopefully he'll be growing some. I'm going to do my best to spread this plant around where I can locally or whatever, what have you. So the big thing was, even when I talked to the guys from Dennerle, they're like, there just isn't that much of this plant. So, and they've been having troubles getting it to replicate. So if we could get it to replicate, they're like, dude, do that, because it's just so beautiful. They don't want it to just disappear, in their warehouse or whatever and be like, oh, it's just gone, it's just gone forever, So that's pretty good, and should be going well. Let me catch in with the chat here before I don't forget. Seth Farnham says that was a nice trick with the tweezers to get leftover roots. Yes, 100% recommend that maneuver. Also, some people will notice in this video that I did really agitate the substrate before planting the new plants in. If you do have a clay-based substrate, which this people often ask me what substrate is in this aquarium, and I will tell you basically every type of substrate you can think of is in this aquarium. This is the 240 right here. You can see that mixture pile down there. I mean, there is EcoComplete, there's Amazonia, there is sand, there's like there's rocks in here, there's plain laterite in here. I think there's some kitty litter in here. Maybe there's some aquaponics stuff that's mixed in here. There's EcoComplete, there's fluorite. I mean, there's every type of substrate under the sun. I think there's even some crushed coral reef substrate in here. But it's a little point that I would note. I would always try to remind people that if you are replanting in a spot where you saw me pull out all that, the Heteranthera zosterfolia, which is that stargrass, you saw me pull all that out. You always want to try to agitate the soil if you're going to replant right in that area. It's sort of like when you're repotting a plant. You know, you kind of want to amend the soil. This is a good way to kind of amend anything that may or may not have been compacted a little bit. And so I would always just kind of remind people to kind of stir up the soil a little bit. Don't go insane, which is why I use the tongs. I just use the tongs to kind of poke around in there, kind of mix things up a little bit, and then keep it going, full steam. Let's see here. As Valerie says, do you have to get all the roots from the other plants? Not necessarily. You don't necessarily have to get all the roots from the other plants. Typically, those the roots that were left there, unless they're the thicker roots, they won't resprout into anything. They'll most likely just waste away and die off. If I can see them, I'll grab them. I'm not hyper concerned about it because those little fine roots, so basically the ones that I'm kind of pulling out of there, they won't reproduce into anything unless they're the big stocky roots. Then I just wouldn't. I'm not that concerned about it. So. I gotta get my coffee, you know. Let's see. Whew. Josh 1000100 says, I've been buying the Petco brand of tissue culture. They have an Anubias variegated. I have had some real success, and then sometimes the whole culture just melts away. Yeah, that's honestly my experience in the past. I haven't had the melt away madness happen yet. Obviously, it has only been a couple of days, so we shall see. But as I mentioned before, it's been quite a while since I really utilized any tissue culture plants. And, you know, especially from having gone on tour with Dennerle and seeing how they do what they do and why they do and how they do it, I'm pretty confident this should be a lot better than my previous experience with maybe, you know, a lesser quality tissue culture situation. So people were asking earlier whether or not I think Dennerle or Tropica plants are better or are worse. And I will tell you, here's my answer. They're basically exactly the same. I would realistically tell people that, like, the Dennerle and Tropica work together all the time. They really do. And I would say that if they don't have something, they would help the other one. If the other one doesn't have something, they would help them. They work together quite a bit. And they work together quite often and on a regular basis. There's almost even some so fluid that people will work for Tropica, then work for Dennerle. Like they're kind of back and forth. I know that some of the Tropica stuff is at the Dennerle headquarters in Germany, where we were at. So I would say the checks and balances between the two straight up, I would say that they're pretty equal as far as I know. Now, I wouldn't necessarily have a preference for one or the other than I deal with the Dennerle people quite often. I've dealt with the Tropica people, George Farmer, Kyle, all those guys. And the Tropica people, they're awesome too. They did have a standing offer for me to come up to Vancouver, Canada, and look at their new greenhouses up there. I'm not really sure what I'd be able to film. That was the big reason I wasn't super excited about it, because I was like, what can I film if I come up there? And they're like, oh, yeah, you can't really film all that much. And I was like, hey, it's not really much motivation for me to come up there if I can't film anything and like show you guys some of the stuff. I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and throw that on the back burner. As you guys know, I'm not exactly 100% welcome into Canada, from previous, let's call them life experiences. And so, I was like, it's going to be just like a ton of work to come up there. And then I'm not going to be able to film anything. So I wasn't exactly sure what they wanted me to do if I was going to come up there. And if I couldn't really film that much, then I was just like, wasn't motivated, because I was like, man, if I can't like even bring an inside look to like show you guys, then that just kind of seems like a waste of time to me. I was like, I'll try to schedule a different thing that I could go do where I could film, So, we got KG Tropicals in the chat. What's up, man? Says it was really cool getting to know you over the weekend. One of the highlights of my weekend for sure. Oh, that's right, man, John. I would agree with you. It was fantastic to meet you, my guy. It was great to get to know you, and hopefully we shall be, working on some of those things that we were talking about before. With the things that we were talking about, and we'll see if we'll be able to do that. Hopefully we'll be able to pull those off and be able to do those things that we were talking about. So maybe we'll do that without spoiling a spoiler alert, right? Jason R says, I bet their system setup would be pretty cool to see. Agreed. The Dennerle system and the setup that they run was really cool to see. They were setting up a whole brand new tissue culture situation there. I put some of it in the video that I put up online, and it was really interesting because I would say it was almost like it was more like a food handling facility than anything else. So it was sort of really clean surfaces, really temperature controlled, quite a clean environment, which is not typical to, either American wholesalers or farms for that matter. So it really was kind of reminiscent of a lot of the chef work and agriculture stuff and all those things that you guys know is sort of my past, And so that's was kind of one of the definite like interesting parts, Let's see. Rogue Aquariums is here. What's up, my man? That's I'm wondering when Rogue and I can get together, because that's probably going to happen sometime. I don't know when that's going to happen. We'll figure it out. I guess text me. Fish Nerd says, I was shy last year and didn't really talk to people. This year I got to chat with everyone a good bit, and it was super great. Yeah, Carlos, if you guys haven't seen Carlos the Fish Nerd, check out some of his videos. Like, I would have to say, I'm a huge fan of a lot of his work and stuff, and having to get to know him a little bit better 2 years in a row. Well, I could always recommend either KG Cichlids or the Fish Nerd. I would recommend either of them. This was my first time meeting John, KG Tropicals in person, which is awesome. And so JH Aquatics was there. Let me just think off the top of my head, like, who was there. So there was Corey from Aquarium Co-op, Schwisky, Flip Aquatics was there, Aqua Pros was there, LR Bretts, Lucas was there, Raise Aquaria, Simply Beta, Creative Pet Keeping was there. I didn't see any hair flipping. This time around. JH Aquatics was there. Tazawa's Tanks was there. There was more. I don't know. I forget at this point. But there were so many people there, and it was awesome. And it was great to meet everybody. But I'll be talking a little bit about that kind of after the video. I think I'm going to stay on the plant topic here a little bit. So moving along with the tissue culture plants. Planting them is basically as easy as planting any other kind of regular plant that you get. It's essentially just kind of break them apart. On the packaging, it says, clean it, cut it, plant it. On the packaging, they say if you just kind of cut it like a pizza pie, so it's like it's kind of like a round root ball situation. And if you just cut it like a pizza pie, that's normally pretty good. They either say cut it into quarters or cut it into eighths, however you feel like doing it. Then you can just plant them like that, kind of grab the roots, stuff them in there, and then it's sort of just your typical waiting game, just like in the garden. Just like in the outside garden, you just got to kind of wait for nature to kind of do its thing. Somebody was asking earlier, do I use root tabs? It is very rare. It is very, 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 it's like a blue moon. It'd be like a blue-red harvest moon, like from Star Wars on Endor. It's very rare that I would use root tabs. I typically am fertilizing the water column. So I actually personally, myself, actually use Easy Green from the Aquarium Co-op. One of the big reasons for that, I know I have gotten some messages from people that they're not sure about, they're not sure whether or not they want to, switch to Easy Green or whatever. And, one of the things that kind of cracks me up is that I use Easy Green for the main reason that I use Easy Green is that I know the chemical makeup of it. That's an affiliate link right there that sends you over to the Aquarium Co-op if you want to go get Easy Green. That's the website for it. Be aware, I am an affiliate for Aquarium Co-op, but the thing is, like I was mentioning earlier, I know the makeup. I know what goes into that fertilizer, and I really find it to be valuable. I really find it to be valuable that dollar to dollar, it's pretty much the fertilizer either I would be making, which is a big pain. I'd be making it in dry form, and then I'd have I don't know if you guys have ever seen Breaking Bad. Like the interior of that trailer. They have that like RV that they drive around, and then they cook meth in it. That's kind of what my fish room would look like. Making fertilizers all the time, and I'm not interested in doing that. I could totally leave that job up to the guys that really like doing that stuff. I'm not opposed to making fertilizer or anything like that. Feel free to make it yourself if you like. I've done it in my past, and I kind of thrown it into the I throw it into the pile of, like, I used to make my own CO2 also. Like way back in the day, 8-9 years ago, I would make my own CO2 with yeast and sugar. Does it work? Yes, it totally works. And I realistically would tell you it's just a monumental waste of my time messing with that all the time. So if it's something that you want to try out, I wholeheartedly say go ahead and try it out. I would definitely go ahead and try it out and go for it that way. And if that's something that you want to do, it's like something you want to learn about. You want to learn the chemical reaction and like see what's up. I imagine that it would be a fun project, but I wouldn't go for it long term that way. That's why I recommend people to like go to Craigslist, find some old used CO2 tanks. Sometimes you can find like somebody who stopped making beer. That is always a good time. If you can find somebody who stopped doing like a home brewery, home brewery, is that, all right, hold on, let me start over. If you find some home brewer who just stops brewing his own brew, like from the Milwaukee Brewers. Anyhow, if you find a guy doing that and he's selling off his stuff on Craigslist, that's always a great opportunity to strike, and get a super good deal on most of the equipment that you need. It's something that you could do. You could definitely go into it that way and do that kind of thing if you want, but I think just do it as like a fun thing, but don't rely on it long term. And I think that's the same thing with making your own fertilizers. If you are interested in that stuff, definitely go into it with the idea that I'm going into this because I want to learn, and then maybe I'll kind of back off after that. We got a $4.99 super chat from Twin Cities Guppies, who says, "Thanks for hanging out with the family on Monday." By the way, we went and scoped out. We went and scoped out the Statue of Liberty maneuvers, and we got to see the statue kind of from afar. Not a big deal. It was amazing. That park is cool. The view down there is crazy. King and I discussed that maybe 10 or 20 years from now, we'll start doing some of that stuff that the people were doing. They were moving their legs really fast and listening to rock music. I'm not really 100% what that is, but we figured maybe 10, 20 years from now, we'll give that a try. We'll give that a shot, whatever those people were doing. He also says, "Had a great time. It was a blast, and my daughter was pretty sad. She didn't get to say bye in person." Yes, I agree. I'm very sorry I didn't say goodbye. I don't know. We were all just kind of lollygagging around, and then it was time to go. So it's just like, okay, gotta go. Didn't want to miss my flight, and Amber was being Amber, which I don't think Amber has a channel, but Creative Pet Keeping and Simply Beta totally gave me a ride to the airport, and were super generous with their time to give me a ride to the airport. And I didn't want to hold them up or miss the ride. That would have been weird. That would have been super weird later on. I don't know how you explain that to anybody. But we've got a $1.99 super chat from the Fish Nerd. Says, "For your poise and grace." Thanks, brother. Priscilla says, "Kang's daughters, oh my God." Yes, they are fantastic, I have to admit. He's got great daughters. Hopefully mine will just blend right in there whenever she gets big enough. Somebody asked earlier, we have the dog cam now. Will there be a baby cam in the future? You're darn right. You're darn right there will be a baby cam in the future. You all should get super excited for that and start freaking out. And, because I think maybe the live streams in the future will be like, we get to live stream until the baby starts crying. Amber has a channel. It's called Big City Betas. Okay, cool. I didn't realize that. Oh, sorry. Everybody's going to get mad if I say betas. Betas, 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 betas. Tomato, chocolate ice cream. You say tomato, I say chocolate ice cream. Isn't that how that song goes? It's like, you say tomato, I say get out of here and get me some chocolate ice cream. Because I need a power lift later, and no one can power lift on tomato. No one ever heard of power lifters that eat nothing but tomatoes, but everybody knows that power lifters will eat a chocolate ice cream. Right? Is that how that song goes? I'm pretty sure that's how it goes. Beat us. Tazawa Tank says, "Rumor has it that Corvus loves Southwest Airlines." Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. Not too happy with the Southwest Airlines that got booked. I don't know how that happened, but it was a thing. It just was a thing. Not to badmouth anybody that's in, because most of the people that were doing their job, they were all doing a pretty good job. It just not a good airline. I don't think it's not good. And they don't even have assigned seating. Like, how ridiculous is that, where we just trust everybody to get on the plane and be cool about it? Because the reality is that you get on the plane with no assigned seating, Everybody just takes the window seats and the aisle seats, and then everybody else has to sit in the middle. And I will say this to the couple that I had to deal with on my way back from Chicago to Seattle, I don't wish them any ill will, but I don't like the crazy games that they were playing. There's a creepy couple. There's a creepy couple of humans, and I don't like it. Not cool. Not cool at all, weird couple. Ridiculous. It was a point in time where we were, supposed to dress nice and be nice on airplanes, and now it's just weird. Now it's just weird. I don't even know how to explain that story. That was just bizarro. I don't know how to explain it. Needless to say, it was all about them doing power moves so that they could have the aisle seat and the window seat, and this guy had to sit in between the weirdos. You know what I'm saying? When they could have easily just sat next to each other and been weird to each other and not involved me in that situation at all. I think that would have been much better. But no, there had to be weirdos on the airplane. I don't get it. Because I just was held hostage by their weirdness. I mean, I basically just put my headphones on and put my neck pillow on and was just like, I'm going to sleep. I can't deal with these weirdos. Steve's Fishy Place says, I got to watch the replay. Phone's going to die. Got to finish water changes and making a video on the guys I got. On the guys I got from the Twin Cities Guppies. Oh, man, if you got some Twin Cities Guppies, I want to see that video, that's for sure. If you guys don't know who Twin Cities Guppies is, you've been sleeping under a rock. It's weird. JH Aquatic says, #weirdo sandwich. That's legit. That's exactly how it went down. It was weirdo sandwich, that's for sure. And I was the... What's a weird meat? I was like the Landjager. Yeah, I think. Daryl Deemer. If we're there again next year, we're going every day. Where are you guys going to? The apple pie with caramel and ice cream was amazing. Chris had a great idea. Hey, look, I would like to remind you guys that Chris is not the only one responsible for the ice cream madness. That is a two-person affair, okay? That is myself and Chris Lukup are both fanatically crazed for ice cream. And whenever we get together, we will not skip an ice cream. We will not skip an ice cream adventure. We will probably talk about ice cream at any given point in time. Some given point in time throughout the day. And we will also probably talk geopolitics, international affairs. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff, but we definitely, that is a two-person ice cream obsession, and that is between Chris Lukup and myself. We definitely are both crazed for the ice cream, so I will remind that. I will remind that to everybody that I do take 49% credit. I don't want 50%. Seems like too much. Seems like too much to handle. Josh is asking, what do you do about bully fish? I have a bumblebee goby mouthing shrimp twice its size. Move them to another tank. Just relocate them somewhere else. That's basically going to be the only thing you can do. It's like I'm trying to change the nature. I don't know. Changing the nature of something isn't going to work out that well. You could always move it to another tank and then try and move it back later. I've tried to do that before, and I'm not saying no success, but I'm just saying limited success. Some fish will respond to like a blackout period. You can actually like let no light in there whatsoever for, I think, like I want to say like 72 hours. I think like 3 days. You know, I think that has that is an option that might work. A long period blackout, but you know, As KG Tropical says, we walked through the entire state of New Jersey looking for ice cream for Joel and Chris. I don't think it was the entire state of New Jersey. I think it was just the south half. Yeah, I think it was just half of the state. All right, so back to the tissue culture plants. I think we all got that figured out. I don't know. I feel like there isn't a whole lot of information left on the tissue culture plants. We'll go back to here where we got the dog cam, and we can keep an eye on the Mr. Chippy McChipperton. I think he's called Mr. Chips because of his little black spots, like they're chocolate chips, which reminds me of ice cream. That's my buddy. Okay, so let's get on to topic for the last portion of the show here. How was the aquatic experience? Now, I will say a lot of the stuff at the aquatic experience was very much the same stuff that you would see, that you would have seen at the Chicago aquatic experience. Most of the vendors were the same. Most of the displays were the same, other than instead of the seals, there were sharks this time around, which I don't think that the shark thing was all that great, personally. Just kind of some nurse sharks in a tank, and I don't know. I mean, it might be different if I was a kid and I had gone to the show. Maybe I would have been like, whoa, I'm super excited about sharks. I feel like if I watched Shark Week on the Discovery Channel for 20 minutes, it might almost have been like almost a better show, I guess, than actually seeing them live. But maybe that's a rude thing to say. I don't know. I just wasn't entertained by it. It just wasn't for me. Although I will say this one had a giant pond with some koi in it, which I found to be a lot better than the Chicago one. Sort of the usual retailers you would think of, we saw there, which, from, Fluval to Kessel to most of the saltwater guys. There were some frag tanks available to buy some coral frags. If that's something that you're into, like I am, I definitely, every time I walk by them, I was like, yes, I would like to purchase this whole tank, and you just hand deliver this to my house somehow. And then I'm like, I have $12. What can you do? Kind of deal. So there were a lot of there were Dennerley stuff there. Obviously, there was Tropica stuff there. It's one of the cool, awesome things that one of the really cool, awesome things that I really was into was, so JBJ and Dennerley teamed up. They did a booth. And one of the cool things is they brought Volker. I can never say his name right, and I apologize if I'm saying it wrong again. It almost sounds like you're swearing if you say his name, like, legit, so I'm just going to keep saying it like an American, like a gringo, like Volker, who is Dennerley's Aquascaper, right? He's the guy that sets up all the tanks and, like, shows you guys layouts and all that kind of cool stuff. He's the guy that makes all that stuff. He actually came and did a bunch of live demos, and they basically like showed you guys how to do the demo, and then a bunch of people got to do the demos for free every single day, and then you got to take the tank and all the stuff that you put in it and take it with you, like, as a fan. They're like, here's your aquascaping tank now. Now you got all your rocks, you got your driftwood, you got your plant, you got your substrate, you got all that stuff. All in one. You are the one that scaped it, and take it with you. And that was really cool. Tropica also did that with George Farmer. They had George Farmer doing live aquascaping and showing people, like, how to do stuff, giving them basically a one-on, there's like 40 people there or something, 50 people, 100 people. I don't know how many people were piled around there. I didn't count them. But you basically, like, see it happen in person. Raise your hand to ask questions, that kind of stuff, which was really cool. And then all those tanks got given away also. So not only the plants and the substrate, everything, just the whole aquascape ready to go. They were giving them away, and that was dope. Like, I can't imagine like, if I had gone to a show like 10 years ago, and I don't know. I can't think of any aquascapers that are around back then. Like Tom Barr. Like let's say that I went to a show 10 years ago and Tom Barr aquascaped a rimless glass tank, talked about all the plants in there, talked about all the things that are going to be used and all that kind of stuff, answer questions, and then I got to take the tank with me. I probably would have crapped out rainbow soft serve. You know what I mean? Like I would have been so excited. And I imagine that has got to be how a lot of those people felt. You know what I mean? I have to imagine. I can't think of any other way to feel like, oh, this just gets to go with me? What? So that was super cool. And just to like see how excited people were about that, I'm like, that's like bar none. Just seeing people like super excited about going to get their own planet aquarium, take it home with them, set it up in their house, and it just that level of excitement was really cool. Let me start thinking in my head here. They also had an aquascaping competition, which is quite good. I would admit there was another why did a person enter this? Somebody didn't even fill their tank with water. Last year, it was whoever put the crystal shards in the tank, and then this year it was somebody who didn't fill the tank. If I ever put out a video, it'll be on there, and it'll be on there. I'll be on there talking about how crystal clear the water is, because you can just see through it like it was air, just that clear. You know, but other than that, the competition was next level this year as compared to the previous ones I've seen. And I also just got my juices flowing because the Aquatic Gardeners Association, otherwise normally referred to as the AGA, is going to be in Western Washington next year. And I am super stoked for that. And needless to say, I am going to... I was almost going to say bust my hump. I don't know. That sounds weird. That's like a weird saying, bust my hump. I'm going to put in a lot of effort into trying to replicate that excitement for some people next year. Is that a good way of putting it? Is that a good way to put it? Yeah. Hopefully that's a good way of putting it, right? Maybe that makes sense. Now, I definitely did talk to as many people as I could about the AGA. Maybe they want to come to it. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But I would definitely say a lot of people in the chat you see here, a lot of the people you see in the chat here, there will be at the AGA. There will be opportunities like Potato right there. Potato. He will probably be at the AGA because we will work that out. That's May 3rd through the 5th. That's going to be May 3rd through the 5th, and that's a weekend. And I don't know. Maybe you should go. South of Seattle, so it's going to be pretty darn close to my house. So I'm pretty excited for that, and I'm going to do my best to do that for next year. Also, there was a shrimp competition with about 150 tanks. 150 tiny shrimp tanks. And very interesting. Very interesting shrimp entered this year. I will say very excited. Very exciting entries. There definitely were some shrimp there where I went, seriously, bro? Seriously, bro? Seriously, bro? That's really kind of what I was saying. Like, that shrimp is seriously here. Oh my God, I'm seeing it in person. Nico was there. If you guys know who Nico is, he's one of the great shrimp breeders of Europe. He was one of the judges, though, so he didn't bring anything to put in, which was slightly irritating to me. I was hoping that I might have been able to get Nico to bring over a couple shrimp for me from Europe. But I don't think that bringing them over and then having them sit in bags for a week is probably not a great idea to get those shrimp out. So I was in agreement that it's like, maybe next time we'll figure it out, or maybe we'll just ship some more. I don't know. But Nico was there along with Joe's Shrimp Shack. If you guys don't know about Joe, there was quite a few contestants, quite a few really, really cool shrimp, quite a few like pretty top-notch breeders out there. And as Valerie says, she's sorry about the betas who died there at the Aquatic experience. I kept hearing about that. I didn't have any involvement with the beta situation. So some people were saying it was lack of heaters. I don't know about that. I've had betas drop down to basically frozen water and they were fine. But I'm not 100% sure. People were saying that the betas, there were a bunch of betas that didn't make it. And I don't know why. They were saying it was because there was no heaters. And I was like, yeah, it wasn't like hot in the convention area there, but I certainly wouldn't say it was super cold. So I don't know. But I don't really know the ins and outs of why they didn't work out. But as far as I know, there were some people that I talked to. They are going to make adjustments for next year and definitely make that right as the best to everybody's ability, and go from there. The famous Jones is here. He says, General Zod. I definitely have been getting the General Zod is how people were getting me over the weekend. So I appreciate it. You know what I mean? Like I'm always pretty happy to have a little gentle ribbing. That's always pretty nice. That doesn't bother me at all. But otherwise, let's see. There's a bunch of displays, a bunch of shrimp competition, aquascaping competition, the sharks, the YouTube booth, which I thought was pretty good. We definitely had a lot of great people show up to the YouTube booth. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot more space than last year, so it certainly made a lot of sense. I think people were kind of confused and didn't know that Corey was giving away shirts for free. So by the last day, I kind of started doing the auctioneer thing where I was just, hey, man, do you have your Aquarium Co-op shirt? And they were like, no, I don't have one of those. It's like, do you want one? And they're like, well, how much are they? And they're like, that's going to be the low cost of $10. Wait, not 10, because that's 10. No, just drop the 1. They're like, they're free? Sin gratis. Free. So it really was, so that was fun. The YouTube booth was great. Everybody hosted was fantastic. Definitely had Rob from Flip Aquatics did a ton. He really did a ton of work to get a lot of things. Did a lot of things going on that, or had a lot of things going on that was fantastic. The restaurants and dining, I didn't really get to eat anywhere good. Because most of the places we at were like chain places. Like Buffalo Wild Wings can just go right back to, like, where did Buffalo Wild Wings come from? Florida? I can't imagine people in Buffalo, New York invented that. I gotta look this up. Wings. Wings started in what city. Let's see here. Let's bust into this. Oh. Oh. So it didn't. So it didn't start in Buffalo, New York. It started in Columbus, Ohio. But it's out of Atlanta, Georgia. So the headquarters is in Atlanta, Georgia. It started in Ohio. Has nothing to do with Buffalo, New York, other than this is probably the Buffalo Wings part, right? That's it. It all started in 1982 with two guys driven by hunger. Since then, we've only gotten better at making wings, serving beer, and loving sports. Oh, terrible. If that place ever closes, I don't think I'd be upset. That experience is the antithesis of what I enjoy as a dining experience. It's like, did a bowling alley have a... I don't know. I can't even say that. I can't say that. It's just not a place for me. If you guys like it, if you guys like Buffalo Wild Wings, that is fantastic. Sitting in there, there was 900 screens playing all these games. The music is super loud. I don't understand the menu is a disaster. You know, I'm just saying. And the food just really wasn't all that great. It just wasn't, you know, it's one thing like if the environment was bad and the food was like amazing. The food's not amazing. The environment's not great. Or the, you know, inside there. If people like that, cool, man. Kudos. No worry. There's an extra seat for you at Buffalo Wild Wings because I won't be there. But I did not enjoy that. But the place that I went to, which was called, and I'm gonna type this out: big bowls, small plates. We went to this place called Big Bowls and Small Plates, and I'm gonna see if there's any of them. I gotta type it out again because I have it over here. Big Bowls, Little Plates. Oh, that came up real quick. I'm wondering if that's a chain. A laid-back Asian fusion spot offering classic noodles, soups, and small plates in warm environs. Rutherford, New Jersey. Let me see here. Oh, is that the only one? What's the deal here? Locations. Sorry, I even wrote the name. I wrote Big Bowls Small Plates, but it's actually Big Bowls Little Plates. This place was awesome. I love this place. I'm just 100% down with what these guys were all about, and I think it seems to only be one location. This might be the only location. Now open in Rutherford and Secaucus. Okay, so Secaucus, Rutherford, Paramus. I guess there's 3 locations. Oh, no. Paramus is coming soon. So there's only 3 locations. All right, so I went to the one in Secaucus, New Jersey. That place was cool, okay? So it's like these big, like, ramen bowls, and you could get, like, vermicelli bowls and all sorts of stuff like that, which you guys know, like, that's kind of like my favorite food right there. It's sort of this Vietnamese fusion, fresh stuff. They really were taking the extra step with the food. This was the last place that I got to go to. I also got some, what did I get? I got one of the big bowls, and then I got some of the small little plates, which were some of the steam buns and stuff like that. That place was spot on. I like the interior made sense. The interior was nice. It was subdued. It was kind of hipster. It had a little hipsterish kind of stuff going to it, like that the couple from Fixer Upper must have had something to do with setting up the decor in there. the Chip and Joanna Gaines touch. But I was definitely down with the food. The music wasn't all like insane or none of that kind of stuff. Everything in the ordering system worked really well, and it would text you when your food was ready. So somebody was like calling out names for the ticket, but it would text you, let you know. So you could actually just like go outside or walk around or something like that. You know what I mean? So that was pretty cool. And I really enjoyed that place. That was definitely the food highlight of the trip. Stayed at the Hyatt. Hyatt was actually pretty nice. No complaints with the hotel or anything like that. But flew on Southwest Airlines, and that was crazy bad. As I mentioned kind of earlier, I didn't realize that the undercarriage of their plane where they stick your luggage is just like, it must just be like completely unpressurized. Whereas if I fly on Delta or Alaska, like they keep it, I'm sure it's not warm down there. Like they're not heating it like crazy, but the check bags and stuff like that, they aren't like depressurized and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so they keep that, I don't know. It's just a completely different situation. So I was pretty like unhappy with, the crypt flamingo not having fared super well getting back here. But like I said, I'm going to do my best to nurse it back to health and recover it and see what happens. So, let's see. Mr. Merkees says, must say out of all the YouTubers there, Joel and Mike from Aquapros were the coolest to talk to. Well, I appreciate that. And Mike's my boy, so I'm sure he appreciates that too. Yes, the biggest thing about having gone out there is meeting the fans, hands down. All the people that I got to talk to, all of the fans I got to talk to, the fellow creators that I got to talk to, but mainly the fans. You know what I mean? Realistically, I saw Mr. Sunmade was in the chat earlier. Totally brought me and his wife brought me cookies, did some origami. It really is, meeting the fans is next level, man. People that are excited to actually, it's almost always it's like just happy, cool people that are excited about, building they're building a, what's the word? We're building a, community is really the thing. Honestly, I was talking to some higher ups on the way out from the convention, and one of the things that they mentioned, just being like higher up business people that I was talking to, I don't want to name names or anything like that, but I was talking to some higher up people, and they realized that they're like, oh, you guys are actually building a community for a lot of people to be involved in. And it's like, yep. They're somebody I was talking to while we were there literally comes from a part of the US where there are no fish stores, there are no fish clubs, and doesn't know anybody that would even really doesn't even really like keep fish realistically, or plants, or any of that stuff. They really just didn't, and it just kind of made the world to them that they come out and go, I just made a connection with like 100 people. You know what I mean? Like 100 new people that like, maybe they're friends on Facebook, maybe they're friends on Instagram, maybe they're friends on, now they're friends on YouTube or something like that. I know Google Plus disappeared, but you know what I mean? And the reality is that being able to start making these connections and actually really doing, some things that were pretty good. And I think, seeing what that means to people is really important to me, and I want to do my best to just keep doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like reaching out and just building a bigger and better and bigger and better community, realistically, so that as time moves on and time moves forward, we're just moving forward and doing a better and better job. You know what I mean? At helping each other out. You guys saw that Bentley Pascal was in the chat earlier. He was posting it like he's going up north to trade some plants. Like that's a perfect example right there of just this kind of weird community that is going where I've seen a lot of people that are trading plants through the mail, helping each other out, answering people's questions. As you guys know, I answer the Patreon community posts like once a week on here, so it's live to try and have some interactive type stuff. It's another one of the reasons I do this long format show. I think it's a lot more interactive, and I think it's a lot more personable, and I'm going to keep doing it this way. I know I've gotten some advice from other people over the last couple years about what I should do to grow my channel, what I should do to do this, what should I do to do that. And, I realistically have my vision of what I want to do. And maybe it's the long road. Maybe it's going to take a really long time. But I'm still going to stick to what I want to do, and that's how that's going to go. We got Dank Tanks here saying, hey, guy. I like it. What's up, guy? How you doing, bruh? Hey, bruh. Super Bear Cow says, there's like one person I know in my area that keeps fish. I wish more people around me were big into fish so I could swap plants and fish. Well, that's where you come in. You are the ambassador to your area. It might be one of those things where Super Bear Cow, right? There's only like one person around you, but maybe you share some of the things that you really like onto Facebook, and then it gets to somebody that that is like, I didn't realize that he liked fish too, right? And you're like, oh my God. Or maybe that goes to somebody that's like, hey, my uncle has like 90 fish tanks in his garage. He's really into fish. I didn't realize you were into fish. Like, we should go meet my uncle, or I'll bring you over to meet my uncle or something. You know what I mean? Like, that kind of stuff happens all the time. Is that, people don't realize that there's somebody next door who probably has similar interests, and we just really don't have a chance to interact with the people next door because everybody's so busy. Everybody's kind of closed off these days, and it really is just, evident that, at least through the power of the internet, we can definitely get some of the ideals, some of the information that people are learning and stuff like that. As I mentioned early on, many, many years ago, one of the big reasons that I'm even interested in building a community online or any of that kind of stuff is that, honestly, one of the things that I've always thought would be really interesting is to be able to get a lot of people to be doing the same experiment. Sorry, I had to fix my chair. This is live. But one of the things that I've always thought would be amazing if, with a big enough community is to get everybody to be able to do the same experiment. It's as if, like, if you think of it this way, I'm not going to name any big companies, but like, let's say, I can name a company. This would be fine. Costco. Costco doesn't have anything to do with fish tanks or anything like that. But let's say Costco was a big sponsor or something like that, and we got like some kind of coupon for like a free 10-gallon tank with a filter, right? And then it's like, okay, so we got this coupon. We give that out, and let's say like 2,000 people go get that tank, and then we all set up the same tank, right? But, maybe 20 people use X substrate with Y light, right? And then how does that work? And then, that kind of stuff. So we can actually build numbers and try and figure out, like, do some of the actual experiments, like around the country, around the world, and find where things start to work better in parts of the world, and then start to compile some of the information that we get, right? Is that like maybe somebody in New Zealand is like, okay, Fluval lights are super expensive. Can't get a Fluval light here, but we could get a Phoenix light and this other light and this other light, and we're all going to get the same setup, but we're all going to try a different light. What are you doing? Mr. Chips! What are you doing? I think Mr. Chips' cam froze. Okay, good. Because I think he's like... What is this doing? Hold on a minute. What does this do? Whoa. This is doing crazy stuff. Okay. I think we're going to go away from the dog cam because I don't know what's going on with the dog cam. We'll go back to it eventually someday. We can figure out what's going on with it. But like I was saying, so like, you know, we find out certain things aren't available in certain areas, right? Like how could we, you know, figure out a way so that the point of entry is not crazy to be able to do some of the experiments that, like I was kind of mentioning, like, you know, maybe there's 5 guys in, maybe there's like 5 guys in like New Zealand that could like make use of some kind of, oh, what happened? What happened? Oh, it's so hot in here. But like let's say we found 5 guys in New Zealand that could make use of some kind of coupon and then go from there and be like, you know, using mostly all the same plants and that kind of stuff. And then they'd be able to like kind of compare and contrast because we're all kind of in the same community, and then get a chance to discuss amongst all of us and trade off some of the information. I have no idea what happened with the camera settings. Like, I basically like turned off the other camera and then everything is just like pink on here now. I don't know why. But trying to figure out live while I still talk at the same time. I don't know. Either way, I guess I'll just be pink today. It's all weird. It's all weird. Yeah. No, it definitely was the dog cam, but I think it I think it froze somehow. I don't understand. Like that's that. That's that. So maybe I gotta delete that one? Like I literally, let me see. I don't know what is, I don't understand. Okay. Oh, there we go. Now it's working again. Chips. Hey, man. What are you doing? He's just over there being cute. I don't know what the deal was with the dog cam, but it's fixed now, I guess. But now my cam's all weird. I don't understand why I'm all pink. It's like the white balance is all screwed up, but if I screw with the white balance, it just goes like this. So I don't even know. I don't even know, guys. Let's go like that, and then like this, and then make it totally weird. This the weird show where everything gets weird. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I'll figure it out. How do we move the zoom? Zzz. There we go. I don't know. I'll just have to reset everything and then figure it out for the next show. But either way, I'm just weird looking in the meantime. Baby Aquarium says, I need a tan. Alvin Alejo's got to go to work. All right, man. Very much appreciate it. All right, I've started trailing off. I'm starting to lose my, I don't know. I'm starting to lose my train of thought. So let me see. Let's go back here and see if we got any questions. It's Nature Man says, love the show. I look forward to it. Thanks. I very much appreciate you guys tuning in and stuff. Let's see here. Rod S says, my son is an intern at Make-A-Wish Hawaii and gets to work some of those Wish events. We'll check if he works Caleb's. Hey, man, what are you doing? Yeah, cut that out. It's weird. So I'm making all these crazy licking noises back here. Hey, man. Stop. Stop licking your feet. He keeps licking his feet. It's weird. Yeah, man. Stop it. I'll turn your bed around. Are you being good? Are you being good? Okay. There. We get, hey, man, stop doing that. Oh, see, now you're going to leave. Oh, man, I told him to stop licking his butt, and then he left. So that's life. 54 Punchy with the tips for Mr. Chips super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, yeah, I'm starting to trail off, and I was trying to find some questions. Gerald Wallace says, are you blaming Mr. Chips for odd noises from under the desk? Yeah, it is him. He was butt licking, and then he got in trouble, and so now he ran off. Now he run off. Gone Mad said there's a new guy at work who loves to talk fish tanks. He wants to get one when he can. That's awesome. Help him out. Help him get that rocking and rolling. Josh says 2 aquarium stores in Mississippi, other than chain stores. The one I got to is an hour and a half from me. We still started a fish club. Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to start a fish club wherever you're at. Obviously, the internet's a great way to do that whole thing. You can definitely start to post some of that stuff up and figure it out. Priscilla MK Art asking, am I going to Aquascape? I do not know. I do not know, you guys. I'm going to be real honest with you and real transparent when I say going to the aquatic experience cost about $1,800, I think. It was about $1,800 to $1,900, basically, to go, if not, yeah, we'll just call it a straight $2,000. Because I know I missed some income too, but it was about $2,000 to go to the aquatic experience. I'm planning on going to the AGA because it's close to my house, but I'm also planning on putting a lot of work into the AGA personally, and I think that will pay off for the people that go to it pretty well. I don't know. I might be completely wrong. But going to Aquascape, the aquatic experience, I think there's 2 Aquascapes next year. If I'm going to do any other traveling, whether it be collecting or any of the other projects, I don't know. I can't say whether I'm going to go to Aquascape or not. I got a baby this year, and, as Priscilla says, yeah, that was pricey. My bank account is crying. Yes, mine is also. I'm booking some more jobs, though, so it shouldn't be really that big of a deal. I just have to kind of play catch-up for a little while and maybe do some jobs I would have maybe passed on to someone else. But that's okay. No, it's okay. It was definitely worth going. And I'm not mad about it or anything like that. I'm just don't know if I'm going to go to Aquascape or not. Yeah, as Robert Meyer says, there's Houston, Texas, and Chicago. So there's 2 Aquascape next year, I think. I don't know if it's been released yet or not. I have no information. I heard that there's 2, and I don't know if I'm going to go to 2. But I know when I talked to Luca, he's wanting me to come to a really big convention in Germany, which I would like to go to that. I believe it was something else. I don't know. There's a bunch of other things. So I don't know. And I got a baby coming, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make it to anything. I don't know. You know what I mean? So That's just kind of one of those deals, you know, that if it can work out, I'll go. I'll go to anything if I can work out the schedule and make it work. You know, I'd love to go to all of it, you know. But I'm thinking this coming year I am going to have to make some decisions on whether or not I'm going to go or not. I don't know. Priscilla says Texas is closer than Chicago. I think Texas is the same distance for me. Because, like, Chicago's like this. Texas is like this. And that's going to be pretty much, I think they're equal distant. I don't know. I think Dallas, Fort Worth, and Chicago are about the same flight time. It's Nature Man says the mailman at work heard me talking about fish. He told me about a local guy who went to Peru on a wild fish catching adventure. Turns out it was my 7th grade science teacher, and I can't wait to see what's I don't know. What's what, I guess. That is awesome. I mean, if you could make a fish connection through your mailman, maybe it's the fishy mailman. You might have the fishy mailman. Who knows? Who knows? I don't think I've ever got to meet the fishy mailman in person, but that guy's been a huge supporter of this show, and my hat's off. My hat's off, dude. Totally hats off. Baby Aquarium says your baby comes before the shows. Gerald says life comes first. Priscilla says when's the baby coming? The baby is coming very soon. Like 3 weeks, something like that. I don't know. She's going to come out when she comes out. Went to the another checkup appointment yesterday, and she's doing fine. She's doing great. Mother and future daughter are doing fantastically. Seth Farnham says suggestions for beginner corals. There are a lot of beginner corals that I could definitely recommend, and one of them I would say any of the kind of easier softy type corals. First of all, here's what I'll say: stay away from. Stay away from leather corals. Stay away from pom-poms, xenia, any of that kind of stuff that will spread throughout your tank. Because right now, it sounds super exciting to get stuff that will spread all over your tank. And I will tell you this, that is not good. Because that stuff that spreads out all over your tank, you will hate a year from now and be super mad that you ever put it in there in the first place. A great beginner coral that you'll always be happy with is nice zoanthids. Find really good quality zoanthids, which essentially, the way to describe quality zoanthids are the ones that are the colors that you like. That's pretty much what that means. Any kind of zoanthids is going to be the way to go. There's like a zoanthids.com, I think. Hold on. .com. Yeah, zoanthids.com. Check this out. I don't even need to paste. So you can go over there. I don't know if you want to order from these guys. I've seen them at tons of shows, and they generally always have nice-looking stuff. I've never bought anything from them. I don't know. I've never bought anything from them, but everything has always looked pretty nice when I've seen their setups and seen them in person at shows, like Reef Works and all that kind of stuff. They definitely have nice ones, and so I would definitely go look through there. Zoanthids are going to be the way that you'd want to go as a beginner in a beginner coral. Go that route. You'll always be happy with zoanthids. You can always resell them. You can always, get them into somebody else's tank. It will be a great commodity to have and a great way to start out. Because there's a lot of variance with growing them. You just do have to be a little bit patient because they will take time. But once they get going, they get going. Whew. God Mad says Aquashella had some insane zoanthids. That's right. That is right. Somebody had a question here. Levi Lombardi is asking, has everyone ever done a massive school of 500 plus Celestial Pearl Danios? Do they make one mega school? or will they break off into multiple schools? Yes, they've been done before. Generally, all fish will break off into little schools unless there's something giving them some kind of, air quote, pressure, unquote. Something pressuring them like a bigger fish that they'll generally think is hunting them or whatever will keep them schooled up tight. Other than that, all the schooling fish will eventually just start kind of going around kind of willy-nilly when they realize eventually that, hey, there are no predators in here. They just kind of start being bozos, you know? All right, guys. Well, I'm coming up to the end of the show. I don't see a ton of questions here. I want to give a big shout out to everybody on the Patreon. If you've never been over the Patreon, feel free to go give it a look. You go over there and check it out. If it's something that if it looks like something that you might want to be into and you might want to help sponsor the show, it is a fantastic way. What is this doing? Or log in. I don't understand why logging in has been such a problem recently with all sorts of things. Very bizarre. Excuse me. Can I go to the main page? Thank you. Man, I really only just came over here to get the link so that I could post it for you guys in case you've never been there before and you wanted to go check it out. There. You can go check out the Patreon if you like. If it's something that you like to see the short videos keep coming out or seeing the long format videos like this keep coming out, you can go over there and sponsor if you like or do nothing. Totally fine. But a big shout out to all the patronizers over there and a big shout out to everybody who super chatted today. Gerald Wallace, 54 Punchy, Brian's Fish Tanks, M. Howie 9's Fish Tanks, Twin Cities Guppies, The Fish Nerd, and 54 Punchy again with the double whammy on a Wednesday. Whammy! I want to say thanks to everybody coming out and chatting today. Super awesome to see so many lovely faces in the chat. Always appreciate that. Hopefully my little plant demo helped you out. I don't know. It was kind of rambly. I feel ill-prepared. I'm still kind of tired from the weekend and everything. I kind of scrambled around all day. Kind of scrambled around all day yesterday and feeling a little ill-prepared for the show, and I apologize for that. Hopefully it was at least tolerable kind of show today. And no, I'm not searching for compliments, but I hope everybody has a fantastic night out there. Don't light off any fireworks in your living room. Don't do any burnouts in any four-way intersections without the stop signs. Uncontrolled four-way intersections is what I'm talking about. If you got a four-way with the stop signs, maybe do a burnout. Maybe, if it's safe. You know, because everybody else is stopping anyhow. Maybe you could do like a cool smoke thing, you know, and just let people know like how cool you are with your car. But not an uncontrolled intersection. That is not cool. That is not cool for anybody out there. Anyhow, I'm just kidding. Do whatever you like. It's your thing. Do what you want to do. That's a song. All right, guys and gals, later.